Okay, well basically at Pooch DVD we're bringing you a lifeline really. A lot of pedigree dog owners, not just pedigree dog owners but dog owners generally, have one very common problem. Their dogs bark a lot. You know, this is now considered a noise nuisance, and you know, besides pissing your neighbours off, you know, you can actually now be you know, convicted and prosecuted for noise pollution, which is fairly understandable. The problem you've got is barking is a very natural behaviour for dogs. So therefore, when they are barking, a lot of times they're barking for a reason. Other times they are barking because they are alone and they're not happy. Ideally they shouldn't be. However, there is a solution. We've got a static training collar. This is basically waterproof, and then you've got this static correction points here. Basically the collar fits around the neck of the dog, and you know, basically when the dog barks, there is a static correction. This is not an electric shock per se, it's more of a static correction, which basically is a negative stimuli for the dog, which, being clever, the dog realizes that, you know what, that bark created a very negative pulsation, hence that prevents him from doing it again. Very, very effective. What happens immediately is that your neighbours become a lot more friendly towards you, you're a lot happier, and you know, the dog's a lot happier, because you know, you spend a lot of time just going and saying shut up, and the neighbours saying shut up, and you know, there's so much tension, and the dog can really sense this. Remember, dogs can really sense tension. So this collar is fantastic. Okay, at Pooch DVD we also offer fantastic training solutions, and what we have in front of us here is a remote training collar unit. This is the collar itself with the static correction nodes here, and this is the controller. You can see here the dial, that's the various levels of correction, and then these are the buttons to correct. I mean, this button here would give you the maximum correction immediately, and this button here will actually work with whichever dials you've set it at. You've also got another button here which creates a noise to the actual collar itself. Now the purpose for this is not so much as a punishment, but as a correctional tool. Remote training collars really help pet owners, you know, train their dogs to stop doing some pretty serious unwanted, you know, things, such as, for example, you know, chasing sheep. You know, some dogs will kill the sheep. And you know, you as a pet owner, the farmer will be extremely angry and can even sue you. You'd be liable for this. You know, you've got other situations where certain dog breeds, you know, not particularly picking on the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, but using it as an example, can become very dog aggressive while in the park. This remote collar, I promise you, you will really appreciate having it, because if the dog starts to growl and lunge towards other dogs, you simply hit the button there and the dog will get a static correction, and it will stop what it's doing immediately. You've got also situations that you can use, you know, the actual lower settings to you know, teach the dog, for example, not to chew the plants in the garden, not to, for example, you know, try and you know, chew the actual furniture in the house. Again, you can use it for basic obedience training. You know, if you want to do a sit stay or a down stay, once you put the dog in that position, if the dog decides that it wants to move before the time is up, then you can also use a very mild stimuli to correct the dog. Brilliant bit of kit. I can assure you that this remote collar will help you and your dog immensely, especially if you have a problematic dog. If you've got a dog that runs away and never comes back, this is what you need, because once that dog starts to run, you hit the actual correction button, it will stop dead in its track, and at that point you use a verbal command also, for example, stay. It is brilliant. The remote training collar. You can order this from our website.